As COVID-19 swept across the world, everything changed. Countries, societies, and communities have been reshaped, political and social systems restructured, and new social norms created, all at breakneck speed. The pandemic became the great revealer and amplifier of existing inequalities and unfairness across the world. About 40 million people could be pushed into extreme poverty across sub-Saharan Africa because of the pandemic, and African women and girls are being hit the hardest. More than 70% of women face insecurity as they more often work in the informal sector as market traders, street vendors, domestic workers, subsistence farmers, or in the service and hospitality industries. School closures, joblessness, and supply disruptions require women to keep homes and communities together, often at personal cost. But research shows how much the world and developing economies like those on the continent would gain by bringing more women into the formal labor force. Overall, better jobs for women benefits individuals, families, communities, companies, and economies. With more income and financial independence, women can increase household spending on children's nutrition, health, and education. In addition, estimates show that closing the gender gap could increase global GDP by 35% on average. Women's equal access to financial services not only unlocks economic potential, but also gives women a say in their own financial decisions. Today, we're looking at unlocking the potential of African women in business. I'm Tolulope, Adeleru-Balogun. Welcome. This is Business Edge. My guest on today's Business Edge is Durosinmi-Etti. She's the founder of Herconomy. Now, Herconomy is a women-focused community with the goal of enabling women for success. The platform has helped to create and provide opportunities for women and youth in Nigeria and across the continent, and has impacted over 80,000 women through capacity building, mentorship, and funding. Ife, welcome to Business Edge. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
So your background is in management and leadership, and you've also launched 2 startups yourself here in Nigeria. So you're really well positioned to talk about some of the challenges women face in business, going into business, and staying in business. So let's first start off talking about those challenges. What have you seen that has made it difficult for more African women to get into business?
So if you look at even the statistics, you see that globally women are the ones that actually start a lot of businesses. But what happens is that they start micro, nano businesses. So what I find is that most women, the problem that they have actually is mindset. You know, having that mindset shift when you're starting a business, having that mindset shift to actually dream big, you know, having that mindset shift to actually do things bigger than, you know, your parents or your people who went before you, all those things that they did, having that mindset shift that you can be whoever you want to be. That's one of the major issues or major problems that women typically have. Taking advantage of the opportunities that they see. Most times when I go to places, I always see the same set of people. That's actually what pushed me to actually start this business. I used to do other businesses in the past, and I didn't even think that this was the business that was actually going to actually scale. I used to see a lot of women, you know, taking the back seat, and the women that I actually saw actually at the forefront of doing big things, they were the same set of women. So I started thinking, what's the difference? You know, I started thinking it's actually the community, the kind of people who are around them. You know, who are the people you're speaking to? Who are the communities? What communities are you joining? You know, you have to have that mindset of greatness. That's the first thing. Second thing that actually limits women is actually creating that structure or that support. So at the beginning of, you know, a woman's career journey, you'd obviously see a lot more women actually taking up space in their careers or in businesses. But what happens is as they're moving up in their career, sometimes, you know, they start to get married, they start having kids, then they start to take the back seat. Then that's where the problem happens, because they start having kids, and the kids, obviously, kids should be they're your kids. So obviously you love them and everything. But when you create structure and you have that support system, whether it's, you have nannies at home, whether you have your parents or, supporting you, you have to have that support system. And I've spoken to a lot of women, at the top in their career, and they tell you, you cannot do it by yourself. Women, when they start having kids, they say they want to do everything, they're scared of, other people, taking their kids to school. They're scared of, having nannies at home. Sometimes I hear women say, oh, I don't want other people in my space. I want my home to just be just me, my husband, and my kids. Once you have that, just that, nuclear structure, it's very, very difficult for you to do some of the things that you want to do. It's important for you to just, sit back. Sometimes I know you have that guilt of, I'm not the one doing everything.
Yes.
But you have to have that support system that would actually help you to thrive. It's not possible to want to be everything, and it's not possible for you to want to do everything at the same time. Some people try to talk about balance. I always say, balance is possible, but you might not be able to balance everything at the same time, at the same pace. Sometimes some things will lack. I tell women, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Every day, take it as a new day to do things, a bit more differently, and just try to make things work. It's important for you to have that structure. If not, you wouldn't be able to thrive. You wouldn't be able to be the best you can be, and you wouldn't be able to get to the level that, purpose.
Let me come in here. So we've talked about the numbers, and you agree that the numbers are there. You yourself mentioned the issue of scaling up. So when we look at the numbers, women actually make up 58% of Africa's self-employed population. That's the majority, not just half, the actual majority. But yet we find that women are still facing significant imbalances between opportunities to scale, access to funding and training between men and women-led businesses as well on the continent. So there are some who believe that it's about money, it's about investing, that investment specifically for women-led businesses is the missing ingredient. Do you think it's as simple as just investing in women-led businesses?
I think when women get funding, obviously their businesses thrive. But the issue I've seen, because we've been providing funding for women for the past 3 years, some women, let me not say all, you'd hardly see them take advantage of these opportunities. So this year, for example, we're giving out grants to women in business, right? And it's been so difficult finding credible businesses to actually give, the money to. And why is that? You see men taking up space. There was a time, during, the whole EndSARS thing, and we tried to help a lot of businesses who were affected by, the looting and everything. But this time we opened it up to both women and men. And 70% of people who eventually got the grants were men. And I was like, why won't women take advantage of these opportunities that are right in front of them? It was literally just for you to sign up, state what happened, put pictures of before and after, obviously, so that we know that you were actually affected by looting and all of that. But why weren't these women taking up these opportunities? We tried as much as possible to put the information out there. We went everywhere, but women were not taking advantage of these opportunities. Sometimes you hear things like, oh, my husband said I shouldn't come for that job interview. Oh, my husband said, oh, I shouldn't take funding from another person because they'll take too much of my time. Things like that. So these opportunities are there, but sometimes you find women shying away and being scared. And I know it's very scary, even for me. When I started, looking for funding for my business, and when I started, trying to value my company, I was always, trying to pay myself and say, oh, let me not ask for too much and all of that. But you have to think big. You have to dream big. You have to talk to other people who are, other women, how they're doing it, other women who are making it, how they're doing it. And that way you try to make, different choices, and, the fear would reduce. And I always tell people, just do it afraid. Take advantage of these opportunities. There's funding out there. And there are people who have funds that are even focused on females. So if you are in the right business, if you're doing the right business, if you're thinking about doing business that can solve sustainable development goals, then it's easier for you to get that funding that you need for your business.
Okay, so I like talking about research and sharing figures and those who are doing this work, because it's very easy for people to say, oh, when it comes to women, it's just an issue of we want to help them. But it's not just as simple as that. So let me share something else. The African Development Bank found that many financial institutions do not fully understand nor respond appropriately to women entrepreneurs. Female small business owners in the informal sector are also said to typically reinvest up to 90% of their income in education, health, and the nutrition of their families and communities, compared to just 40% for men. This is the African Development Bank speaking now. Furthermore, women are more likely to follow through on loan repayments. So you are a fintech platform right now, providing financial services and opportunities to women across the continent. But there's obviously a space for a digital bank that sort of, specifically targets women entrepreneurs. Is that something that's in your future?
Oh yes, I'm pretty much excited about, creating that new bank for women. But more importantly, I'd like to say that women cannot be empowered through bank accounts alone. They need bank accounts, obviously, which is for access to financial services. I think they need community, and they also need capacity building. It's important for you to have that circle of influence, that circle that you can actually lean on, people that you can actually ask. So even if you look at, Melinda Gates, she said it in her book, women would not be empowered through bank accounts or financial services alone. They need access to that community. They need people, they need to be able to develop themselves personally in their careers or in their businesses. If not, whatever you're providing would just, be a waste. So it's important for you to have that ecosystem where women can actually thrive. So yes, we're working on being, the neobank for women, providing all the services to women. And we've been able to do that because we first started from building that community first. And then we started seeing, through research, we started seeing what women actually needed. And we've seen that, women wouldn't thrive if they don't have these three components to help them thrive.
All right, so we're going to take a break, but before that, let's talk about startups. We've seen a lot of activity and attention on African startups in recent years, particularly fintech startups. In 2019, less than 5% of venture capital funding for African startups went to companies with women co-founders. In addition, as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, research shows that most female-led SMEs are more at risk of permanent business shutdown than those run by men. Research also shows that technology firms led by women experience a 35% higher return on investment than those led by men. Again, the figures are there. So, Ife, what advice would you give female-led startups who are about to embark on the seed funding journey, who are looking to find some financing for them? Because this lack of funding is a major issue for female companies.
My advice to women is to do it afraid. It will be scary, but you have to create your own table, even if you're not getting that table. So I would like to talk about, my own journey through, startup funding. I've been speaking to a couple of investors last year, telling them, oh, I'm trying to build this community. And a lot of them didn't understand it. And I was like, there's a lot of value in community. Once you have community of people of like mind, you can literally do anything. I started pitching, I started doing things, and some of them were like, oh, I don't really understand. Oh, there can never be another Facebook. Oh, the government, globally wouldn't even allow another Facebook to happen and all that. And I said, I'm not just trying to build another Facebook. I'm trying to build something even bigger than Facebook. But they didn't understand. So I said, you know what? I went back to my community and I spoke to them. I said, see, I'm trying to raise funding so that all of us can be okay, right? And all of them said, Ife, I'll back you. And in 24 hours, we were able to raise $600,000. And I was like, this has never happened before. And before I knew it, the VC community started coming at me. Oh, Ife, I'm interested in investing in your business. I'm interested in doing this, I'm interested in doing that. And I was like, okay, but I was speaking to you guys, last year. I was speaking to you earlier this year, and you guys were like, oh, I don't really understand and all of that. So it's important for you to create your own table. And imagine your customers actually investing in your business. There's nothing better than that. That is like a stamp of approval. That means they believe in actually what you're doing. They believe in the value that you're creating. So to all the women out there, please create your own tables. Those people will come after you. If you're actually creating value, I tell them, look at the future of work. Where's the future going? If you have a business, whatever your business you're doing, how are you leveraging technology? A lot of funding is going into tech businesses, tech-enabled businesses as well. Position your business to receive that funding, and you'll get the funding that you need. It's only about positioning. It's only about creating the value. It's also about putting yourself out there. Nobody's going to come and meet you. I believe the reason why it was easy for me to raise funding was because over the years, people have seen the traction, people have seen the impact that we've made, and it was just easy for them to say, this woman is passionate about what she's doing, and she will do everything within her power to make sure that this business is successful. And God forbid if it doesn't go well, because like everybody knows, sometimes, the statistics says that, 7 in 10 startups actually fail. So
yes.
if they would know that, this woman put in her all, but if it didn't work, they will know that, something else, beyond, maybe it wasn't the right time for this business or whatever. But it's
Okay.
important for you to create that table for yourself as a woman.
All right. If we're going to take a break, when we come back, the lack of funding is a major issue for female entrepreneurs on the continent. Currently, there is a $42 billion funding gap for this group in sub-Saharan Africa. A World Bank report profiting from Parity shows that women entrepreneurs across the sub-Saharan region continue to earn lower profits than men, 34% less on average, partly tied to the funding issue. So we talk funding after the break. Still with me is Durosinmi-Etti. She's the founder of Herconomy. Now, Ife, as I said before the break, funding, and you've touched on it a bit, talking about your own experience in raising some capital. Funding is a major issue for women entrepreneurs across the continent. Without adequate financing, women-owned businesses will continue to struggle to survive or will grow at a much slower rate or even stay in the informal sector. And by limiting funds to male-dominated industries, the funding gap only widens. So you've talked about going through the fundraising circus. In terms of what women like you can do to guarantee success, or maybe even, let's say, increase their chances of success, what else can they do? You've talked about building value and having traction, a track record that people can sort of look at to buy into where you want to go next. So what else? Two other things that women can do to increase their chances of success in this particularly critical aspect of their business.
So I would say that they need to join communities and be around the circles of where money is flowing. In my experience, I've seen that, you know, it's all about networking. It's all about who you know. It's all about who can talk about your business in rooms that you can't get to. So it's important for you to have those right networks so that, you know, they can speak for you in rooms where you're not in. Another thing I would say to startups is for them to put themselves out there. It's important for you to build a solid brand for your company and a solid brand for yourself as well. Once people see you and they know what you're doing and they know the value that you're creating, it's easier for you to, you know, get the funding that you need. And at the beginning of every business, most funders, they invest in the founder as a person as opposed to just the business. And when I even speak to, you know, investors, they tell you, even if this founder wasn't successful at this business, I'll still back them in their next venture. That's what, you know, your personal brand and your grit and everything does for you. Once you put yourself out there and you're actually doing good work, you know, people will back you. So my two ones will be, you know, network very importantly, and, you know, build a solid personal brand and a solid brand for your business.
All right. So in talking about that, you recently announced the recruitment partnership with the giant online retailer Amazon. And this is going to open doors for African women to be recruited across Europe, across the continent by Amazon. And this is a collaborative effort, and we're seeing more of these sort of partnerships and collaborations. Do you think this is really where the future is going when it comes to unlocking the potential of African women in business, collaborations and partnerships?
Oh yes, it's important for you to collaborate. It's important for you for global organizations to actually come and tap into the talent that we have here in Nigeria. I'm excited about that partnership with Amazon because obviously it's giving more women opportunities, and at the same time you're also creating value for the company as a whole because they're trying to help them deepen their inclusion efforts and their diversity efforts. So yes, I see more opportunities for women, especially globally. Now, a lot of people are working remotely. A lot of people are getting opportunities globally. It's important for us to continue to seek out opportunities globally. If we're saying or we're complaining that we don't have enough job opportunities, unemployment is on a high and everything in Nigeria, the world is a global place. Try to tap into opportunities, try to get or learn jobs that are relevant for the future of work. Jobs like product management, coding, programming, things like that. And, look for tech roles that, no matter what it is, because there are not too many people who have that experience, it's important for you to position yourself as that. And very soon, you'd see that you're tapping into those opportunities. And guess what? You don't actually have to move to the EU. You can still be here and you can still continue contributing to national development and whatnot. But it's important for you for organizations like myself to continue to partner with global organizations to continue to open up opportunities for people here in Nigeria.
Okay, so you mentioned tech just now, and that's the note we're going to use to wrap up. We can't ignore the role of technology. The future of work has changed because of the things we've experienced in the pandemic, and we know that technology will play a crucial role in harnessing the potential of the female economy. What are the digital financial services, the digital financial aspect that you think can really help women-led businesses to scale on the continent, to increase their number of employees, to just become what they really can become?
Some of the financial services that are available to women, I think they should tap into the savings platforms that are available here in Nigeria, investment platforms that are available here in Nigeria. And once they can tap into some of those opportunities, I think they will be able to scale their businesses. There are a lot of startups that are, giving out loans to businesses, and some of them are even focusing on female-led businesses. I think if they can tap into those networks, if they can tap into those tech opportunities that are available right now, I think it will be better. It will be easier for them to scale, their businesses.
All right, Durosinmi-Etti, founder of Herconomy, thank you so much for joining me on Business Edge.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's estimated that some $316 billion GDP could be gained by 2025 if the gender gap in Africa is bridged. This right now is a missed opportunity. Africa leads the world in terms of numbers of women business owners. In fact, women in Africa are more likely than men to be entrepreneurs. And we know the number, 58% of the continent's self-employed population is female. When you consider that Africa is now a world leader in women business owners, we can see that unlocking women's potential can make a huge contribution to the continent's growth and prosperity. If Africa can level the playing field for women businesses, if we can help them grow, African economies will grow. Empowering women entrepreneurs is simply smart economics. You're watching Business Edge. Up next is NC4 to watch. And this is NC4 to watch. A few stories we're keeping our eyes on. We start in West Africa, where Nigeria's Securities and Exchange Commission has said it will commence charging 0.025% regulatory fee on fixed income secondary market transactions effective from January the 1st, 2022. The commission stated that the circular supersedes previous directives given by the commission on the subject. To the east now, where the Kenya Revenue Authority is set to get unfettered access to information on secret bank accounts held by Kenyans in 106 foreign countries, tightening the noose on tax evaders and beneficiaries of illicit wealth. The National Treasury, in a legal notice, disclosed that it is in the final stages of signing exchange of information agreements with multiple tax authorities across the globe, including popular tax havens such as Switzerland, Panama, the Cayman Islands, Bermuda, the British Virgin Islands, Mauritius, Jersey, and Monaco. And staying in Kenya, the Kenyan Coffee Brokers Association has claimed that following reforms recommended by a coffee sector task force, they have changed the licensing sites from the Agriculture Ministry to the Capital Markets Authority, which is under the National Treasury. They added now that they have obtained licenses from the CMA, but the Nairobi Coffee Exchange has locked them out on account that the Agriculture Cabinet Secretary, Peter Munya, has not regulated, or rather relegated his duties to any other agency. And finally, Fitch Ratings has unexpectedly upgraded its outlook on South Africa's credit rating, providing some respite as the nation grapples with the economic damage wrought by a fourth wave of coronavirus infections. The company kept the nation's foreign and local currency ratings at BB-, 3 levels below investment grade, and changed the outlook to stable from negative. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining us Monday through Friday as we looked at some of the big business and economic stories from here on the continent, and also putting other conversations that involve empowering Africans front and center. This is Business Edge. My name is Tolulope. Adeleru-Balogun. Follow us on social media at News Central TV. Download our mobile app and keep us with you wherever you go. I'll see you on Monday.